A 22-year-old just pocketed $4 million in 4 days and broke a scoring record that stood for 22 years. If you think that's wild, wait until you hear what she had to sacrifice to get here. Hit that subscribe button because this story gets better with every detail. Atthaya Thitikul just won the CME Group Tour Championship for the second year in a row. That $4 million prize is the biggest single payout in women's golf history. But here's what makes it absolutely crazy. Only 3 players in LPGA history have earned $4 million across an entire season. Lorena Ochoa did it in 2007, Lydia Ko in 2022, and Nelly Korda pulled it off this year. Atthaya just made that same amount over one weekend in Naples, Florida. She finished at 26 under par, beating fellow Thai golfer Atthaya Thitikul by 4 shots. Actually, her name is confusing because some broadcasters call her Atthaya, and others say Gino. Her nickname is Gino, but Atthaya is her first name. Either way, she's making history, and we need to figure out what to call her while she's doing it. The win makes her only the second player ever to go back-to-back at the CME Championship. The first was Lydia Ko, which is pretty elite company, but winning the tournament isn't even the biggest story here. Atthaya's scoring average for the entire 2024 season was 68.6881 strokes per round. That broke Annika Sorenstam's record of 68.697 from 2002. Let me put that in perspective. For 22 years, every single golfer on tour has been chasing Annika's number. Siri Pak came close, Lorena Ochoa came close, Lydia Ko actually broke 69 back in 2022, joining Annika as the only 2 players ever to do it. Now there are 3, and Atthaya owns the record. She clinched it with a birdie on the 18th hole in the final round. That birdie dropped her seasonal average just enough to edge past Annika's mark. Talk about clutch timing. The whole season came down to 1 putt, and she buried it. This also locked up 2 major awards. She won LPGA Player of the Year and the Vare Trophy for lowest scoring average. That's her second straight Vare Trophy, which means she's been the most consistent ball striker on tour for 2 years running. And remember, she's the world #1 right now. She took that ranking from Nelly Korda earlier this season and never gave it back. So let's recap what Atthaya accomplished in 2024. World #1 ranking, Player of the Year, back-to-back Vare trophies, the all-time LPGA scoring record, and consecutive CME championships worth $4 million each at age 22. Some players have Hall of Fame careers without checking all those boxes. Now let's talk about the money because these numbers are genuinely ridiculous. Atthaya has earned over $17 million in just 4 years on the LPGA Tour. She turned pro in 2020, which means she's averaged more than $4 million per year since leaving amateur golf. That's not normal. She's the fastest player ever to reach $8 million in career earnings, also the fastest to $9 million, $10 million, $12 million, and $13 million. She's just demolishing every financial milestone the tour keeps track of. This season alone, she made $6.5 million in official prize money, which is the highest single-season earnings total in LPGA history. And that doesn't include the $1 million bonus she picked up from the Aon Risk Reward Challenge, which rewards players for aggressive play on designated holes throughout the year. So actually, this was a $5 million week for Atthaya when you add everything up. $5 million in 1 week. Most LPGA players don't make that much in their entire career. Annika Sorenstam still holds the all-time career money record at about $22.5 million. Atthaya is sitting at $17.3 million right now, which means she's only $5.2 million away. At her current pace, she'll break Annika's career record before she turns 25. That's almost guaranteed unless something dramatic changes. But here's where the story gets deeper and honestly more interesting. Atthaya started playing golf when she was 6 years old in Thailand. By the time she was 9, she wanted to quit. She'd go straight from school to the driving range while other kids were hanging out, playing, doing normal kid stuff. She didn't want to hit golf balls for 3 hours every afternoon. She wanted friends and free time. But even at 9 years old, she understood that golf was bigger than her personal feelings about it. She knew it was an investment in her family's future. By 13, she fully grasped that golf could change everything for multiple generations of her family. She said in an interview that this thought reminds her every single day why she's out there grinding. Whatever ranking she holds, whatever place she finishes, she knows it means security for the people she loves. That's a heavy burden for a teenager. Most 13-year-olds are worried about homework and who likes who. Atthaya was carrying the financial hopes of her entire family on her golf game. Her parents still live in Thailand and only travel to tournaments in Asia because of the cost and logistics. So Atthaya is based in Dallas, Texas, relying on her tight-knit team for support. After she won at CME, her team sprayed champagne all over her on the 18th green. That's her real family in a lot of ways, the people who travel with her week after week. She's worked with her caddy, Nutapong Buunsiri, since she was 16 years old. Her instructor, Chris Asawapahoran, has been coaching her since she was 15. Her manager has known her for a decade. That kind of loyalty is rare in professional sports. Most players cycle through coaches and caddies constantly, always looking for an edge or blaming someone when results dry up. Atthaya has stuck with her core team through everything, and that stability shows in her consistency. Let's break down just how dominant she was this season. She won 3 times on the LPGA Tour in 2024. Only 2 players won multiple events all year, so Atthaya's 3 victories made her the winningest player of the season outright. But it wasn't just the wins. She finished second 4 times, including a playoff loss to Grace Kim at the Amundi Evian Championship, which is one of the 5 major championships. So she was in serious contention to win 7 different tournaments this year. 7. That's an insane success rate when you consider the depth of talent on the LPGA Tour. There are easily 40 players who can win any given week if they get hot at the right time. To be in the mix, that often shows she's not just skilled, but incredibly consistent under pressure. Nelly Korda, who was the #1 player in the world for most of the past 2 years, said something really telling about Atthaya. She said, "I've played with her a lot over the past 2 years, and I would say that she rarely ever has a mishit. That's kind of what you have to do to be on top of the game, and that's what she's doing." When the former #1 player in the world says you rarely mishit the ball, that's about the highest compliment you can get in golf. Golf is a game of mistakes. Even the best players in the world hit bad shots constantly, but Atthaya has somehow minimized those errors to the point where other elite players notice. That's championship-level ball striking. Here's a wild stat to put Nelly's season in context. Nelly won 7 times in 2023 and didn't win at all in 2024. She's the first golfer since Tiger Woods in 2010 to go from a 7-win season to 0 wins the following year. That shows you how brutal this sport is at the highest level. You can dominate one year and completely fall off the next. Atthaya is proving she can stay at the top, which might be even harder than getting there. So let's talk about how the final round at CME actually played out, because it wasn't a cakewalk. Atthaya started Sunday with a 6-shot lead over Nelly Korda, which seemed safe. You'd think she could just play conservative golf, make pars, and coast to an easy victory. But Atthaya Thitikul, her fellow Thai golfer and close friend, had other ideas. Gino birdied 5 holes in a 7-hole stretch on the front 9 and suddenly pulled within 2 shots heading into the back 9. The pressure was fully on. A 2-shot lead can evaporate in a hurry, especially when you're trying to protect something instead of staying aggressive. But Atthaya didn't panic. She birdied the 10th hole to push the lead back to 3. Then she birdied the 13th to make it 5 shots. From there, she cruised home with a 4-shot victory. That's mental toughness. She could have tightened up when Gino made that run, started playing scared golf, and maybe let the tournament slip away. Instead, she answered with birdies and slammed the door shut. Champions do that. They respond to pressure with great golf instead of folding. And here's the cool part. Atthaya Thitikul, who finished second and took home $1 million, said after the round, "I'm just really happy with how I was able to perform well and to celebrate my friend for back-to-back wins. That was pretty cool." Two Thai golfers finishing first and second at the biggest tournament of the year, celebrating each other despite competing for millions of dollars. That's pure class from both players. Thailand has become a legitimate powerhouse in women's golf over the past decade. Arya Judanugar and Moria Judanugar and Patty Tavatanakit and now Atthaya and Gino are all world-class players. For a country that didn't have a strong golf tradition 20 years ago, that's remarkable. And it's not an accident. The Thai government invested heavily in junior golf programs, built top-tier facilities, and created pathways for talented kids to develop their games. Atthaya is the result of that system working exactly as planned. So where does she go from here? At 22 years old, she already has 7 LPGA Tour wins, over $17 million in career earnings, the world #1 ranking, Player of the Year, the all-time scoring record, and back-to-back CME championships. The only thing missing from her resume is a major championship. She's finished in the top 10 at majors multiple times, but hasn't broken through for a win yet. With her ball striking and consistency, it's only a matter of time. You don't average under 69 strokes per round for an entire season without eventually winning a major. The talent is there. The mental game is there. It's going to happen. The LPGA announced that total prize money for 2025 will be over $131 million across 33 events. That's a huge increase from previous years, and you can bet Atthaya will be competing for a massive chunk of that money. If she stays healthy and keeps playing at this level, she could realistically make another 6 or 7 million next season. But beyond the money and the trophies, Atthaya's story is really about knowing your why. She knew at 9 years old that golf wasn't just a game for her, it was a responsibility. That kind of clarity is rare, and it's what separates good players from great ones. When things get hard, when you're exhausted and frustrated and want to quit, having a deeper purpose keeps you going. Atthaya wanted to quit at 9. She stuck with it because she understood the bigger picture. And now, at 22, she's broken a 22-year-old record and become the most dominant player in women's golf. That's not luck. That's sacrifice and vision paying off in the most spectacular way possible. One more thing worth mentioning is how she handled the pressure of that final birdie on 18 to break the scoring record. She knew what was at stake. Everyone watching knew the math. One birdie, and she'd own the all-time record. One bogey, and Annika's mark would survive another year. She hit a perfect drive, a solid approach shot, and rolled in the birdie putt like it was a Tuesday practice round. No hesitation, no fear, just pure execution when it mattered most. That's what separates legends from everyone else. They deliver when the spotlight is brightest. I want you to think about something. Atthaya Thitikul sacrificed her childhood for golf. She gave up playing with friends, going to parties, doing normal teenage stuff. She trained for hours every single day from age 6 with the weight of her family's financial future on her shoulders. That's the kind of commitment it takes to reach the absolute pinnacle of any sport. Most people aren't willing to make those sacrifices, and that's fine. Not everyone needs to be the best in the world at something. But if you've ever wondered what separates the truly elite from everyone else, that's your answer. It's not just talent. It's the willingness to give up everything else in pursuit of one singular goal. Atthaya did that, and now she's reaping the rewards. $4 million in 4 days. A 22-year-old record broken at age 22. World #1, Player of the Year. The most consistent ball striker on tour for 2 straight years. That's what happens when you commit fully to something and refuse to quit even when you desperately want to. So here's my question for you. What's your $4 million goal? What's the thing you'd be willing to sacrifice for if you knew it could change your life and your family's life forever? Drop a comment and let me know, because I genuinely want to hear what drives you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more golf content. We cover the biggest stories, the best players, and the most insane moments in golf every single week. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And share this video with anyone who needs to hear Atthaya's story. Whether they're into golf or not, this is a masterclass in dedication, sacrifice, and knowing your purpose. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.